Hey guys, what's up? So today, now despite I want to do at least the first, I want to at least get 2 more reviews done, as was a Christmas special, which makes it 3, but I really just want to do something of that nice little, yeah, let's go do this as a video. So yeah, I just felt like reviewing something a little classy as of 2016, but yeah, before YouTube became much of a big mainstream media. It's animator versus animation. The original trilogy, at least, the first 3 videos. Now let's talk about the animator. Alan Baker was kind of one of the more. He wasn't fascinated with 2D animation. Some of his favorite cartoons include Looney Tunes, and one of the cartoons he was watching was Duck Amuck, which was the later inspiration for the first series. But before that, he was kind of experimenting and everything, and one of his first videos he made was Pink Ami, which won second place. Though, and yeah, that's pretty much the gist. Also, there's the E-Bounce War controversy, but I felt. Oh, I'll talk about. You can watch Alan Baker's video, but in short, someone stole his content, and someone stole his original animation, and basically he had to fight when they take it down and everything. But that's a story for another day, at least. But I want to talk about at least the original trilogy. So let's talk about the first original trilogy that started it all. That isn't Pingami, that does not count. That was more of experimental, more early prototypes at least. So the story starts with the animator, who later just drawing a little stick figure and converting the symbol to victim. Yeah, I was attempting to crush him, but failed to do so, causing an epic fight scene. And this shows more of him as a fight scene. Selecting lasso, toes, tying up. Segment. Yeah, it was going for more of a fantastic fight scene as well as the only clone. So towards the end, and in the end, we can NC race and a lot of environmental stuff that I do really like. Now, at the end of the story, he did end up not saving the work at least, just to make sure it doesn't happen again. And for the first animation, that's pretty good. It does have some really good action, as well as more. It does feel like more of the early stages of what would more be set up for the animator versus animation series. Animations. So I'll give kudos to more of how this was. Yeah, and it's more of a start somewhere at least. Next up, we get to animator versus animation 2. And fun fact about this one, this was actually a funded series, actually. Actually, yeah, the series was actually more of a funded series. Yes, Adam also. This was a funded series by the Adam. No, by the way, and it didn't feel like it actually improves most of it. So yeah, the series begins with the typical journalistic figure, but this time he didn't just say the victim; he said it to the chosen. Also, he has Killer and Beast, which are basically callbacks to the game to the anime versus animation game that came. Decided why not to go do the hardest. Chosen and went to chosen. Yeah, he was going to be a calling character in most of his videos, so yeah. Great explosion happens, and suddenly decided why not to. This also happens to try to beat this thing, only to yeah, and burn guns and events. But due to having fire breath and laser eyes as well as super speed and whatnot. And for some reason, all the icons became sentient. Yeah, this was never explained properly a bit, but yeah. But yeah, we do see a lot of epic fight scenes. Also, funny thing, he was on AOL the other. He actually showed his AOL account, and people were a bit on the charging side. Yeah, this is why you should probably cover up the AOL at least. They're not going too well, and also the computer itself decided, yeah, no, decided to fight back. Then decide, yeah. That yeah, the animator decided to summon the antivirus, right? And ends up getting taken and was captured. Later used it, and later used the chosen one as an anti-pop-up button. And yeah, this one had a more improvement, as well as going to be sort of introducing this other character. He will be appearing in the sequel later, as well as mostly just acting as more something cool. And then we get to the grand finale, Animator vs. Animation Tree. Originally, the series was supposed to be this grand finale related to the Animation vs. Animator series. Yeah, originally this was going to be a grand finale. Yeah, yeah, this was supposed to be this grand finale that, all intents and purposes, yeah, originally this video, the third video was meant to be this sort of grand finale, and it was going to, and Alan was very sure this was going to be the sequel. That no sequels will come out after this. Lesson 4. Okay. In all seriousness, this was during at the time when he was like, "Well, I'm done. I'm trying to do something else." I know this was during the time where he really just wants to leave the entire franchise behind and move on to possibly other projects and whatnot, and study college. Mind you, this is before the Kickstarter, before that he decided to work on the Kickstarter for the fourth installment, and yeah, this is before he would do the fourth installment. Mind you, this is way before that happens, and yeah, it was experiment. It was that he really just want to move on with his life. So yeah, the third video begins with, well, yeah, Baker just dealing with this pop up, and then suddenly one of the ads he showed was of the slavery website, rights. Slavery still exists to the stick figure rights and whatnot. Yeah, this website sort of uh, of well, the end of stick slavery website. Although, yeah, there's about the slavery thing that was never brought up again. I don't get what's with this slavery thing that is just. I know, yeah, I know that the series. No, I know this canonically. Yes, the series did have a had some canonical reasons. Did have a timeline, and while 2 and 3 do take place quite some time, a few years about 4 years after the events of the franchise, it still does feel it does feel a little weird how there's kind of the slavery existing. This is never brought up much again after the sequel, but I assume this is just more to set up for Trito. And there's a part that says Kratom at last. Ends up releasing the pop-up blower, which set the chosen one free. And escapes. We see his war dog in the essay. And is secretly destroying it. Oh, yes, and then Clippy decided to help. And Clippy decided to help, and decided to beat the chef, the chosen one. And oh yeah, that pow visual gag. Pow! And Clippy creating a sword. And yeah, I do also enjoy the. I do also like the timing in certain scenes and whatnot, as well as the action. Despite you can shoot the guy. Yeah, I decided. Letting. And yeah, Clippy is like, yeah, you don't mess with him when you. Oh, I feel bad for the essay, by the way. So it already defeats Clippy. So while they're fighting, the animator decided to create the Dark Lord. Yeah. Give a mission to kill the Chosen One. Which they had to fight. Which didn't go too well. Which, wow, destroying an animation thing. Which he chose these mouse cursor to click on the minimize. Yeah. And that's how, I don't think that's how it works. And also, the I was playing solitaire at the time, and also after showing the bouncing and then the other icon TA game came alive though. This is never explained a bit properly a bit on that. So yeah, revenge a bit. Yeah, and also being in the game of also Minesweeper. He tried to make sure he doesn't accidentally step on the mines. Yeah, I kind of suck. Yeah, talk about the more normal fight scene, and I do like the environment. Yeah. We still go an incredible fight scene, and yes, the chosen one already kicks Firefox into the convincingly kicks to the mine. Really easy. The chosen one's about to kill the Dark Lord, but decided to be friends because he was playing solitaire, not caring for his mission, and decided to destroy the old computer. And yeah, if it was quicker, he would have just ended prevent a lot of the events from happening on time. But anyways, he destroyed all the computer, and with the ending with both the Chosen One and the Dark Lord destroying the computer, causing a massive explosion that destroys the blue screen, causing the entire computer the blue screen of death. And that was it. And no more sequels ever happened.
Why you uploading it inside that? Why?
Yeah.
I put inside that.
And no more sequels ever happened. That would have it said if they haven't made 4 and also continue on with the series. Yes. And yeah, the reason he really just wanted to end this early is because he just because he wants to move on to other projects. That's what until pretty much until 4 came out. And yes, there's more. There's actually another reason why. Alright. Reason why he was a bit why 4 exists. But I will get to 4 when we'll get to that when we get to that. We'll get to 4 when you get to that. But for the original trilogy, it still holds up. It's pretty much what it still really holds up as more of a nice trilogy. It's more of basically him doing a lot of action, and really, it's just a fun series. Now, the next time we'll come back to reviewing the series, I'm thinking about covering at least maybe the reboot era. Yeah, I think they really need to choose a better name than just reboot because yeah, just should. I would have called it something like the sequels, or at least something better named than just new reboot. No offense, but I kind of wish they went for a better name. But reboot sounds more just restarting all over again rather than. But you could have just called it the soft reboot at least. But it's just my opinion. But overall, this is still pretty good. This trilogy, I would say the original trilogy still holds up to this day, actually. The action, the comedy, and most of the action as well as the animation. I will talk about Gen 2 later, or Gen 2. Sorry about that. I will cover animation 4 at a certain point. Yeah, I'll cover 4 at a certain point. Right. And maybe spin-off titles next year. I just really just want to cover at least this for now at least. Maybe just the original trilogy for now at least. Before I go cover stuff like 4 and before I continue with at least 4 when I'm sorry, yes, I'll continue 4 at a certain point. But for now, I just want to just cover this before we do anything, to be honest, as well as talk about 4 at least, and maybe a bit of its development cycle. I'm only going to be covering 4 as for the video as mainly because, I'm planning to cover the other spin-off titles and everything else more on its own thing. So yeah, I think overall, like I said, the trilogy was pretty good. Still really holds up to this day, actually. So yeah, and next time we cover this show, I'm covering at least 4.